Coming up on South Florida's news station, we'll have complete coverage of the latest developments in the Middle East.
Also, a story this station first broke late this afternoon. Eastern Airlines is grounded, this time for good. The airline is going out of business before midnight tonight. We will have a live report.
What does the shutdown mean for passengers and Eastern ticket holders? We'll have the answer.
And overseas, Israelis brace for another attack, but this time it could be Israel that goes on the offensive. Leaders in that country vow to retaliate one way or another against Saddam Hussein.
President Bush offers a warning to Americans despite the apparent success of the war so far. We'll take you live via satellite to Washington for the very latest.
These stories and a lot more right here. You are watching South Florida's news station.
South Florida comes alive with the music of liberation. Serafina, the smash hit direct from Broadway with its original cast, comes to the GUSMAN Center for the Performing Arts. Serafina, direct from Broadway with the original cast at the GUSMAN Center for the Performing Arts, Tuesday, January 15th through Sunday, January 20th. Tickets on sale at the GUSMAN Center box office and all Ticketmaster locations.
Pick up your $2 discount admission coupon at any participating Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant.
We want to come out and party and play.
Come party with Nia Peoples and the rhythm of the streets on the Party Machine.
Weeknights at 1 on WSVN 7.
This is a special edition of Channel 7 News. America at war.
Israel is bracing for another Iraqi missile attack. Air sirens blare today as two false alarms rattle Israelis. And tonight, word that Israel will react to yesterday's attack, an assault that leveled buildings and left 12 people injured. Hello again, everybody. We are going to be bringing you all the latest developments in the Middle East tonight in this special edition of Channel 7 News at 10 o'clock.
But first, we begin with a major story for South Florida, a story that Channel 7 first broke early this afternoon. Eastern Airlines is out of business. After more than 62 years in the airline business, Eastern Airlines is grounded for good. In just 2 hours, Eastern Airlines will no longer be flying. Channel 7's Michael Williams reported the story exclusively this afternoon. He joins us now live from Eastern's corporate headquarters in Miami. Michael.
One employee leaving here said it's hard to believe the old lady will be gone, referring to 62-year-old Eastern Airlines. The official word from Eastern Airlines' public relations wire is that the airline will officially discontinue all scheduled operations beginning at midnight tonight. Sources tell us that liquidation will follow soon thereafter. There will be a news conference tomorrow morning here at Eastern corporate headquarters beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern trustee Martin Shagru will hold that news conference to officially announce the end of Eastern Airline. Employees, even now, as we've told them about the official word, are in most cases, many cases anyway, saying no comment. Other people, though, earlier knew that the bad news was soon to come. Here's the report we filed just a little while ago. Eastern machinists walked off the property tonight, pushing their tools ahead of them. One of them had a sign in his toolbox that spoke about the uncertainty they all feel. Officially, they say they're to come back Monday. Unofficially, they voice great worry.
Unofficially, nothing. Unofficially is what we hear by the news.
How concerned are you? What are your thoughts?
If it is closed, we have to go.
Eastern's been struggling ever since it went into bankruptcy court 22 months ago. But last November, Martin Shagru assured the bankruptcy court that with an additional infusion of $135 million, which was granted, the company would be up and running and would not lose any more money after March. It was not to be.
We've ran out of money to keep on, and if they go any further, there won't be funds to even close it down and take care of the shutdown.
There will be a lot of people talking about what went wrong. Jordan Green offers at least one analysis.
What went wrong a long time ago when Eastern told its employees, you either give up income, work conditions, etc., so we may compete in this highly competitive, non-regulated arena, or else we're going down the tube. The unions over there right now on 36th Street bragging how they shut down Eastern. If you notice, they're out on the street bragging. They're not in the payroll line.
The unions, no doubt, will take great exception to that. They say it was Frank Lorenzo, the much despised boss who came aboard in 1986 who drove Eastern into the ground, according to the unions. At one time, this airline employed more than 30,000 people, pumped $800 million into South Florida's economy, and was considered not only South Florida's flagship carrier, but at one time the nation's 7th largest airline. Not only are all those union people out of jobs and have been for quite a long time, at least a great many of them who haven't been rehired elsewhere, but also the 18,000 employees, pilots, flight attendants, and machinists who came aboard to fill the gap when the unions went out on strike, a strike for the machinists anyway, which never ended. Again, Eastern shutting down, this time for good. All flight operations will be officially discontinued, according to Eastern Airlines, beginning at midnight tonight, and all sources say a liquidation will follow soon thereafter. Again, a news conference will be scheduled for 10 a.m. tomorrow morning by Martin Shagru. Much more on this story to come a little later in our newscast.
Very sad story for all of us, Michael, but you have done a great job reporting it. That's Channel 7's Michael Williams reporting live from Miami. And coming up later in this newscast, we're going to have complete Team 7 coverage of tonight's announcement. We're going to tell you what the shutdown means for passengers and Eastern ticket holders. Some people at Miami International Airport are already finding out the answer for themselves tonight: flying frustrations. It has been a fight to the death between Eastern management and the unions. Tonight, the airline died, taking with it thousands of South Florida jobs.
Commanders showed reporters these shots of the initial assault taken from cameras mounted on the fighter planes. And they joked about the attack on Saddam Hussein's headquarters.
This is my counterpart's headquarters in Baghdad. This is the headquarters of the Air Force, and keep your eye on all sides of the building as the airplane overflies the building and drops the bomb down through the center of the building.
Here, you're looking at 2 Scud missile storage bunkers in Kuwait. The pilot is keeping the bunker in his sights. Then he sends 2 missiles to literally slam through the front door to destroy the bunker. You can also see how accurate these missiles are in the bombing of this Iraqi command center.
Now Michael is joining us live from Eastern's corporate headquarters in Miami. Michael?
Rick, as you can see, cars heading out of here from the Eastern complex here late at night, perhaps for a great many of them for the very last time. The official word from Eastern Airlines, which it put out over its special PR business newswire, is that as of midnight, all scheduled operations are to be discontinued, and sources say a liquidation of this 62-year-old airline will follow soon thereafter. That word coming from Eastern corporate management less than an hour ago, and again, it was put out on the PR newswire, which businesses use when they are trying to put out information. So the word is official now. Again, the expectation that this would happen this week grew greatly Tuesday when the Wall Street Journal reported that a shutdown was imminent because Eastern, despite a fresh infusion of almost $150 million in cash last November, simply continued to lose money, that its bookings were not quite what it hoped it would be in December, and that with a weakening economy and a lot of other factors, including perhaps the fact that oil has been up and down and has caused the airline a lot of extra headaches and costed a lot of extra money, all of those factors playing a part here. For weeks and months and perhaps a lot longer than that, people will pick apart all the different factors that may have caused this. Certainly a central one, according to many analysis, is that the long-running labor management disputes that went on here cost the airline dearly. Also, the deregulated environment that made it much tougher to compete. But the bottom line, Eastern shutting down to liquidate. Next week, we are told there will be a news conference here at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning by Eastern trustee Martin Shagru, who will appear before the cameras. A very tough day here for the 18,000 employees who are with Eastern right now. They came to fill the gap after the unions went out during that crippling strike in '89. A tough day. One man went out and said, it's hard to imagine the old lady will be gone. Back to you.
Michael Williams reporting to us live from Miami International Airport, and we could say a tough day for all of South Florida with a company as large as Eastern and with as long a history as it actually going down. Sally?
We'll get back to our Eastern coverage in just a moment, but first, there are some breaking developments in Israel right now. Apparently, the sirens are going once again. Let's go to Penny Daniels at our update desk and find out what's going on. Penny.
That's right, Sally. We want to emphasize, though, this story is not confirmed. We do have reports on the wire services, 2 wire services, AP and UPI at this point, that for the 3rd time in 9 hours, just 9 hours, there have been sirens heard once again in Israel, this time in Jerusalem. Israelis were awakened from their sleep. These sirens were heard about 4:50 a.m. Saturday, Israeli time, which was 9:50 p.m. tonight, our time, which was just about a half an hour ago. About 25 minutes later, an official reported hearing an explosion somewhere in the area of Jerusalem. Security forces are now checking to try to figure out what the cause is. In the meantime, official radio has instructed residents to put on their gas masks once again and take refuge in sealed rooms. They're getting used to this routine at this point. Earlier Saturday, which was earlier today for us, a Soviet satellite, as I told you earlier, was seen burning in the sky, and people thought that that was perhaps a missile launched. So Israel is obviously very, very tense. It may be a false alarm. We just don't know at this point. We're going to have to get back to you, Sally.
All right, well, we'll get back to you as soon as you find out any more. Thank you, Penny. Well, the question tonight regarding our Eastern coverage, thousands of passengers have many questions, and one of them is, are my tickets at Eastern any good? Channel 7's Rick Leventhal joins us live from Miami International Airport tonight with more on that question. Rick.
Well, Sally, just about 35 minutes ago, the Eastern Airlines ticket counter closed, perhaps for good. There were about 24 people in line. They all were waiting for refunds on their tickets, and they all left disappointed. Now, word spread quickly here earlier tonight that something might be up with Eastern Airlines. It might be the end of the line. And while employees wouldn't talk about it, passengers had plenty to say. We've learned that Eastern is liquidating. We'll probably be out of business sometime this weekend.
That's adorable. You're kidding. Maybe it's about time. They've never been on time for years.
Doesn't it affect your travel plans?
Of course it does, but it's about time they went under. Let the strong ones survive. They've been a pain in the ass for years.
Strong words, but echoed by other Eastern passengers.
I'm glad it's going under. Someone needs to take care of Eastern. You know, someone more respectable. Someone else that can perform a lot better than Eastern.
Travelers arriving on incoming Eastern flights were unaware of the airline's upcoming liquidation and unsure what to do next.
Well, I have to try to get home somehow. Well, I'll be trying all weekend to get home.
Perhaps most affected by an Eastern demise, business travelers, lured by special first-class rates and convenient flight schedules.
Well, I hate to say it. Eastern's been a good airline for me. And, of course, I hate to see any business go out, but Eastern especially.
And you take advantage of their business class?
Absolutely. It's a fine airline.
In general, already stressed passengers are wearied at the thought of having to reschedule their trips.
Well, if Eastern goes out of business, I'll probably call my travel agent. There was a mechanical failure on an Eastern plane, which is why we came to Miami. We were supposed to go to Fort Lauderdale. It was a bad fuel valve.
And now you might not have a ride home.
That's possible, yes. In fact, we might not have a ride to Fort Lauderdale.
Well, what you're looking at right now is the piece of paper that was handed out to all those people who are waiting in lines for ticket refunds. And basically what it says is that Eastern will process refunds at its Miami headquarters. You need to send your unused Eastern ticket with a coupon to the following address: Eastern Airlines Incorporated, Passenger Refunds, Miami, Florida, and we can give you that zip code if you like. Now, any questions you may have regarding your Eastern ticket, you can also call the phone number starting next week, the number 873-3400. That's it. We're going to take a look at the address. Eastern Airlines Incorporated. There it is. Passenger Refunds, Miami, Florida, 33148. You should send them your name and address. And also, you can call that number starting Monday. The number is, as you see there, 873-3400. But again, here at Miami International Airport, the Eastern ticket counter is now closed, and it may never open again. Sally, back to you.
Rick, I bet a lot of people are wondering about frequent flyer points. Have you heard anything about that with Eastern?
Absolutely not. No clue whatsoever as far as frequent flyer miles. Good point, but as far as my guess would be, they won't be worth a thing after today.
Okay, Rick Leventhal reporting from MIA. Rick.
For many Eastern passengers, it's certainly a frustrating night. The word of Eastern's imminent demise is sending travelers scrambling to get on other airlines right now. Channel 7's Brooke Bradley reports that many passengers aren't happy with that or with what the airline is and isn't telling them.
Fly the wings of man, they should go to hell.
By 7 o'clock this evening, many Eastern passengers had simply had it, frustrated that Eastern personnel weren't telling them much of anything.
Sir, what are you telling people?
I will tell you when the
told me.
Okay, what did he tell you?
I said, if we come here on Monday and you're not flying, he says, well, all I can suggest to you is double book. I said, but I don't have the money to pay for another ticket. He said, well, I'm sorry.
Larry Brown was booked on an Eastern flight to Tampa this evening, and he decided not to take a chance.
My office called me and told me that Eastern could be shutting down tonight or any time between now and tomorrow.
Eastern sent Brown down to U.S. Air. His friend drove him there all the way on the other side of the airport. U.S. Air did honor his ticket, but only because it was a full price and not a super saver. As the news about Eastern spread, other airlines began to figure out how they're going to deal with the situation. Delta says it will give Eastern passengers their same fare, but travelers will have to purchase a Delta ticket and then wait for their Eastern refund. Pan Am and Northwest aren't honoring Eastern tickets. TWA, United, and American are still undecided. Only Continental will still fully honor all Eastern refundable tickets. Travel agents have been working overtime trying to get their customers rerouted.
We were just hoping desperately that Eastern would make it because they've been trying so hard.
But to some travelers tonight, trying hard just wasn't good enough.
It's an unfair thing to do to the people because they weren't told anything on the airline either on this flight coming in from New York.
That's life.
At Miami International, Brooke Bradley, Channel 7 News.
We were just asking a question of Rick Leventhal a little while ago, and thanks to our producers who work as fast as you could possibly imagine anybody could, they have made some phone calls and they have an answer for you now. All persons, I should say, who have frequent flyer mileage on Eastern Airlines and are wondering what they'll be able to do with that mileage, well, Continental Airlines is saying tonight that they will honor that. Also, the bankruptcy court has made Eastern set aside $50 million, and that will be used to refund people's tickets. Sally.
So what does all of this mean to Eastern's Machinists Union, the union that went on strike? Channel 7's John Turchin joins us live from Union Hall with that story. John?
Well, what it all means is depending on who you ask. If you ask these folks who are all part of Local 702, well, they're greeting it with a little bit of relief, a sense of relief, if you will. However, as we found out earlier today, at the shift change, well, a little bit of a different story for those folks who have jobs. Payback. That's the way many striking machinists see it. Scabs, as they call them, replacements, now apparently without a job, just as they are. The news of an apparent shutdown pleased many machinists we spoke with. They say Eastern is only getting what it deserves.
It's a load off my shoulders right now. And I think I talked to a lot of people. Let's get on with our lives now.
In a way, I'm glad it's over. I just can't believe that the government, the president, and everybody else let this go on like it did. They could have stopped it, stopped Lorenzo in the beginning.
And it's not certainly anything we take pride in. It's a tragedy.
At the airline, some blame Machinist Union leader Charlie Bryan for what's happened now and in the past. Among other things, they point to Frank Borman's exit and the sale of Eastern to Texas Air. Bryan doesn't buy any of it.
Who is to blame for the demise of this airline?
If you're going to name one single person, I'd have to name Frank Lorenzo because he was obsessed, absolutely obsessed, with destroying unions and running an airline without having any unions. He did it at Continental successfully. He thought he was going to do it at Eastern successfully. And the end result, if there's been a lesson learned for corporate America, is that strike breaking is bad business.
And business is the key, because if this does go through, if there is a shutdown, as Michael has reported, well, you're looking at about $1 billion loss to the South Florida economy here, and that's a big deal considering somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 employees. One other thing, another note I should pass on, Sally, is that these folks here at the Machinists Union say despite the shutdown, they're still going to be striking, not only here at Eastern, but also at Continental Airlines. Sally?
Okay, thank you. John Turchin reporting live from Miami Springs.
Still ahead on South Florida's news station, we are going to continue our coverage of the Middle East war. We're also going to see how some American fighter pilots, I should say, bombed Iraqi targets.
Plus, a look at how hospital ships are getting ready for what could lie ahead.